The English Couch. The English Couch. Hey, welcome back to The English Couch. This is our little space where English is not something distant or stressful, but something you can slowly bring into your everyday life. I'm Mia.
And I'm Leo. And before we get into today's topic, can we talk about something very real for a second?
Yes. Because if you've been learning English for a while, you probably know this feeling.
You start a sentence, and halfway through, your brain just stops helping.
Or you know the word. You're sure you know it, but right at that moment, it's gone.
Completely gone, like it moved out without telling you.
Exactly. And then you're left there thinking, why is this so hard today?
So if that's been happening to you recently, nothing has gone wrong.
It simply means you're still building the skill. And building something always looks a bit messy while it's happening.
Yeah, it's not smooth all the time. Some days feel easy, some days feel slow.
And both of those days are part of progress.
So for this episode, don't try to catch every single word.
Just stay with us. Listen for ideas, notice a few phrases, and let them settle naturally.
If one sentence makes you think, oh, I could use that, then that's already a win.
Exactly. That's more than enough.
All right.
Let's ease into today's topic. So today we're talking about something very simple, but surprisingly important.
We're talking about how to describe your weekend in English.
Yes, and this comes up more often than people expect.
All the time. Monday morning at work, chatting with a classmate, even a quick conversation with someone you just met.
Someone asks, "How was your weekend?" And suddenly, you're not sure what to say.
Your mind goes blank, or you only have one word. Good.
Which is fine, but then the conversation just stops there.
Yeah, good is safe, but it doesn't give the other person much to work with.
Exactly. And what we want today is to help you go just a little further than that, without making things complicated.
Because you don't need long explanations or perfect grammar.
You just need a few simple ways to share what your weekend felt like.
That's the key. Felt like. Not just what happened.
And we'll build that step by step.
Also, we'd love to hear from you.
Yes, what did you do last weekend?
Was it quiet? Busy? A bit chaotic?
Let us know. Your real-life examples matter.
All right, let's start with something very basic, but very powerful. You know what's interesting about weekends?
What?
They're one of those topics that almost always work in conversation.
That's true. Because everyone has some version of a weekend.
Exactly. It's shared. You don't need background information. You don't need to know anything about the other person first.
You just ask a simple question, and that's enough to begin.
And beginning is often the hardest part.
Yes. Once a conversation starts, it becomes much easier to continue.
That's why something like, "How was your weekend?" is so useful.
It's light, it's natural, and it doesn't feel too personal.
But at the same time, it's not empty either.
Right, because even a short answer can show something about your life.
And here's the important part. You don't need an interesting weekend to talk about it.
Not at all.
Even a very simple weekend is still something you can describe.
And sometimes, simple weekends are actually easier to talk about.
Less pressure, fewer details to worry about.
So instead of thinking, I didn't do anything special,
Think, I still have something I can say.
let's make this very practical.
Yes, what can you actually say?
Start with the most basic idea. One clear sentence.
For example, I stayed home. I went out. I met a friend.
These are simple, but they already sound natural.
And you don't need to change them into something more complicated.
Instead, just add one small piece of information.
Like, I stayed home and watched some shows. I went out with my friends. I met a friend for coffee.
Now it feels more complete.
But it's still easy to say.
Exactly. That balance is important. Clear, but not stressful.
Because when people try to say too much at once,
That's when things get stuck.
yeah, the sentence becomes too heavy.
So keep it light. One idea, then a little more.
That's how real conversations grow anyway. Now here's something that makes a big difference.
Yes, this is where your English starts to feel more alive.
It's not about adding more information.
It's about adding your reaction.
Exactly.
For example, you can say, I stayed home.
That's fine.
But if you say, I stayed home, it was really relaxing.
That already sounds more like real conversation.
Because now we understand your experience, not just your action.
And that's what people usually respond to.
Yes, feelings make the sentence easier to connect with,
So you can use very simple words here.
like nice, fun, tiring, quiet, busy.
For example, it was a quiet weekend. It was quite busy. It was really fun.
You don't need anything more advanced than that.
No complicated vocabulary required.
Just one honest description is enough. Now let's look at something many learners do.
Yes, the list problem.
You might say, I woke up, I ate, I watched TV, I slept.
Everything is correct.
Yes, but it feels a bit mechanical.
Like you're reading steps from a manual.
Exactly.
So how do we make it sound more natural?
We connect the ideas.
You don't need anything complicated, just simple linking words.
Like, and then, so, because.
For example, I stayed home and then I watched a movie.
Or, I was really tired, so I just rested.
Now it feels smoother.
Yes, because the ideas are no longer separate.
They flow together.
And that's closer to how people actually speak.
Not perfect sentences, just connected thoughts.
Exactly.
And once your sentences start connecting like this,
You don't feel like you're building English anymore,
you feel like you're just talking.
which is the whole goal.
All right, so now we can describe what we did, and we can add a little feeling.
Yes, but sometimes the problem is not language.
It's memory.
Exactly. Someone asks about your weekend and you suddenly feel like nothing happened.
Which is almost never true, by the way.
Right, usually something did happen, it just didn't feel important.
So let's make this easier by looking at a few very common types of weekends.
Yes, because most weekends fall into a few simple patterns.
First one, the relaxing weekend.
This is when you rest, stay in, maybe watch something, maybe sleep a bit more.
Classic recovery mode.
Exactly. You could say, I stayed home most of the time. It was really relaxing.
Or, I didn't do much, I just rested.
And that's completely natural English.
Very natural. No need to make it sound exciting.
Second type, the busy weekend.
Yes, the one where you finish Sunday and feel like you need another weekend.
Exactly. You might say, it was quite busy. I had a lot to do.
Or, I went out a lot, so I'm a bit tired now.
Then we have the social weekend.
Meeting friends, going out, maybe eating together.
Yes, for example, I met some friends and we had dinner together.
Or, I spent time with my friends. It was really nice.
And then there's one more type.
My personal favorite.
The I did almost nothing weekend.
Beautiful, very underrated.
And the key sentence here is, I didn't do much, but it was nice.
That sentence is powerful.
Yes, because it's honest, simple, and very natural.
Now, here's something important. Conversation is not just about talking.
It's also about listening and responding.
Exactly. After you talk about your weekend, you usually ask the other person.
Right, and this part is actually very easy.
You can simply say, "How about you?"
Or, what did you do?
Short, simple, and completely natural.
And when they answer, you don't need a complicated reaction.
No, just show that you're listening.
For example, that sounds nice.
Or, "Oh, that sounds busy."
Or even, that must have been tiring.
These small responses keep the conversation going.
Yes, because conversation is like passing something back and forth.
Not just holding it on your side.
Now let's talk about something very real.
Yes, how people actually speak.
Because in real life, people don't always use full, perfect sentences.
Not even close.
They add small words that make their speech softer and more natural.
Like, kind of. A bit. Honestly.
For example, it was kind of a quiet weekend.
Or, I was a bit tired, so I stayed home.
Or, honestly, I didn't do much.
These little words don't change the meaning much.
But they change the feeling.
They make your English sound more relaxed, more human.
People also don't always explain everything clearly.
No, sometimes they speak in a slightly loose way.
For example, yeah, just stayed in, went out for a bit. Nothing special, really.
Short, incomplete, but very natural.
And that's important for learners to hear.
Because better English doesn't always mean longer sentences,
So today, we talked about something very simple.
but also very useful.
How to talk about your weekend in English.
And hopefully, it feels a little easier now.
If there's one thing to remember, it's this. You don't need complex sentences to have a real conversation.
A few clear words, plus a small feeling, is already enough.
You can say, I stayed home. It was nice.
And that already sounds natural.
So next time someone asks you, how was your weekend?
You won't feel stuck.
You'll have something simple, honest, and real to say.
And we'd still love to hear from you.
Yes, what did you do last weekend?
Tell us in the comments.
Take care of your English.
And take care of yourself.
I'm Mia.
And I'm Leo.
And this is the English Couch.
See you next time.